Hello. Today I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about the concept of chunking into a mathematical problem. As we know, chunking is basically integrating a concept into one smoothly connected pattern, meaning that you want to take steps or chunks of something and make it whole or make it, and I guess in this case, want it to make it the right answer. Here I have two very basic questions. I didn't want to make these with too hard questions, so they're hopefully concepts that you can understand. Um, but like in the first one, as we see, we have x plus 13 is equal to 22. Okay, for somebody who maybe doesn't know very basic algebra, this might seem a little bit daunting, but taking it in steps and taking it apart make it just so much easier, as well as just chunking it and separating it into different parts. So right here, your first step to know is one, I guess if you don't know the concept at all, you should look back and learn what is that x needs to be. And once you learn very basic algebra concepts, you'll know that you want to get x by itself. So right here, you separate this into its own chunk. You have x plus 13. So you want to get rid of that 13. Adding 13 to this would make this 26. So that means that's no good. You don't want to do that. So hopefully if you thought adding 13 to maybe x, that would be 13x as well, which is also no good. So hopefully you'll be able to decipher that instead of adding, you want to do the opposite of the operator, which here's plus. So you want to subtract 13. Okay, so by subtracting 13, you'll get rid of the 13 right here. You can almost cross it out. Awesome, so you have x by itself. Are you done? No. You have this second part over here on the right that now you need to do something with. So now you bring that down, and no, x is not equal to 22. You have to do something with this 13, and if you need to go back to your video or back to your lecture, whatever you're learning, you'll learn that what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So in this case, you'll subtract 13 by 22, and you'll end up with 9 on this side, or equal to 9. Great. Now you can bring down everything. X is equal to 9. So chunking in this case just made a question broken into a couple of parts, and you're able to attack it a lot easier. You're able to look at things in particular steps that you're able to tackle on one at a time. Here's a little bit more of a complicated question. Again, looking at this, it looks very daunting. So here you have a triangle with sides A, B defined and C undefined. Okay, we can take this by steps. So A in this case, if we look at A has an angle degree of 60 degrees. Okay, we look at B. That has a total of 70 degrees. Okay, 0. But then we look at C, and we have sort of like the similar question where C is X in this case, or undefined. Okay, so if you're stuck at this point, you might want to go back to your lecture and look at something, again, working in chunks. So if you're stuck right here, this is part number 1. You've completed it. You were able to identify what the question was and are able to tackle it on. Looking back, you'll see maybe your instructor, your teacher will tell you that a triangle has a total of 180 degrees by 3 sides. So all in all, this has to equal 180 degrees, right? So you have A plus B plus C is equal to 180. We know that A is 60, B is 70, but we don't know C, okay? But we do know from our lecture that this has to equal 180 degrees. Okay. So here you're stuck at the second chunk. This is where you have to tackle what do you need to do next. Well, just combine like terms, right? So this is your second part. You combine like terms, and this will be 130. So 130 degrees plus c, or x, doesn't really matter, plus c is equal to 180. And just by doing this, we're back at this step. We're back at this type of problem. So you'll be wondering what to do here. And again, just go back to your lecture to maybe go back, stop and think that you've done this part. What do you need to do next? Now you need to find out what this would make equal to 180. Okay? So we can be simple about it. You can either just simply look at it and be like, oh, that's going to be 50, or subtract 130 by each side. By doing that, you will see that x, or c, and I guess in this case, c is equal to 50 degrees. Again, by chunking, you're able to make a question a lot more manageable instead of just looking at it and kind of, you're not going to get it. You have to divide it into between parts. And I think by dividing it in between parts and, being able to tackle things one at a time, it will be much easier to visualize a question when you get stuck. Thanks for watching.